Spike might not be the most recognizable name on the roster,
Well, I don't remember.
but as the first game to require the use of the dual analog controller, Ape Escape was in the top tier of the original PlayStation's platformers, and fans will be pleased to hear that many of his high-tech gadgets make up his Battle Royale arsenal. So let's see if Spike is as sharp as his name suggests. As one of the game's slowest characters, Spike demands a smarter style of play. He's most effective against isolated opponents, and the properties of his moveset help to facilitate that. But he's also surprisingly balanced, with moves that cover all ranges, plus some combo potential and a decent trio of supers. The square button is all about stun club and sword attacks. Tapping neutral square 3 times will unleash a 4-hit combo with the stun clubs, ending with the opponent's ejection for 40 AP. This is your go-to short-range attack, but be mindful of any opponents behind you while using it, as they can interrupt you easily. Forward and square is one of Spike's best attacks. This will cause him to charge forward, clubs outstretched, ejecting anybody in his path for 30 AP. The downside to this attack is that it takes a while to initiate, so using it at extreme close range is usually a bad idea. On the upside, this is practically a mid-range attack for the distance it covers, and you can increase that distance even further by holding square to charge the attack. Aerial forward and square will cause Spike to charge downwards at an angle instead of forwards. Note that this form can also be charged but is significantly less powerful, yielding 10 AP by default and 20 AP when charged. One press of up and square will knock the opponent into the air for 15 AP. Pressing square again will then eject them for a total of 30 AP. This move also serves to juggle opponents when used in the air, and the wide radius of the attack means it can be used as an anti-air as well. Down and square is a vital component of Spike's combos. With a swipe of his sword, Spike will sweep an opponent for 20 AP on the ground. Time a second swipe correctly and you'll juggle them. In the air, down and square will instead smash Spike into the ground with his sword, mini-launching anyone nearby. This is another attack that takes a long time to initiate, and also leaves Spike open if it misses, so it's best used on groups of opponents. Triangle is where things start to get interesting. Neutral triangle spawns a remote control card that can be directed with the left analog stick, leaving Spike vulnerable. Pressing triangle while the card is active will shoot a vertical laser that will crumple grounded opponents and eject airborne ones. Both forms of this attack will yield 20 AP, and it has a myriad of uses. Use it to annoy players from long range, defend yourself against incoming opponents, or, if you're quick enough, start a combo. The card will disappear a few seconds after you spawn it though. Forward and triangle will launch the Bananarang. At long range, this is a great individual move, mini-launching opponents on contact for 20 AP. Best of all, if it doesn't hit anybody on the way out, it has a second chance to connect on the way back. Since the aerial form of this attack is the same, you can really catch other players off guard if you use this move in the right position. Tapping up in triangle will fire a quick slingshot, worth 10 AP, into the air at a 45-degree angle. This will hit a grounded opponent at extreme close range, but you'll most often reserve it as an anti-air. The recovery period is also too long for it to be useful in a combo, but try following aerial down and square with this attack for extra damage. Holding up and triangle to charge the attack will increase its range and power, bumping it up to 20 AP, but obviously this comes at the cost of the attack's quick startup. Therefore, this form is better suited as an individual attack against more elevated opponents. Down and triangle is an attack that your opponents will come to hate, the B launcher. This is a mid-range attack that will freeze opponents momentarily for just 5 AP, but it leaves them wide open for a whole second. The long startup is frustrating at close range, so try sweeping the opponent with down and square first, then fire the B launcher to follow up with a close range combo. Alternatively, use the superior aerial form of down and triangle to fire at opponents below you. This is a little harder to aim, but it will net you 10 AP in contrast to the 5 you would earn on the ground. The circle button is where you will find Spike's more situational moves. Neutral circle, which triggers a hula hoop, is largely useless due to its painfully slow recovery, short range, and small power. You can mash neutral circle to cause Spike to dash forward, knocking opponents out of the way and causing significantly more damage. But this has the slowest startup of any move I've seen in the game so far, and the attack is so much worse in the air that it doesn't even bear mentioning. Just avoid it. Forward and circle is another slow starter. Tapping will throw out a boxing glove that barely reaches mid-range and only yields 10 AP. Bizarrely, charging this attack weakens it, knocking the yield down to 5 AP, but it will stun the opponent for even longer than the B launcher. This effect is not often worth the time it takes to charge, however, and the measly range makes it even harder to land. That said, you can follow up a mid-range shot of the B launcher with tapping forward and circle for a little more damage. The startup of aerial forward and circle is a tad slower and can't be charged, but is significantly more powerful, yielding 30 AP and ejecting the opponent. Up and circle is by far his best circle move. Whether used on the ground or in the air, this activates Spike's teleport, which is incredibly useful for closing gaps, escaping short-range brawls, or setting yourself up for a longer-ranged attack. You have a degree of control over this teleport as well. Swinging the left analog stick to the left or right as soon as Spike vanishes will teleport him in that direction. Down and circle brings out the monkey radar, which has varying effects depending on how long you charge it. Releasing down and circle while the radar flashes blue will send out a monkey to charge into opponents for 10 AP. Not much to write home about here, but the startup is quicker than most of Spike's other moves. Releasing down and circle while the radar is green will drop a banana peel on the stage. You can use this move at a closer range or as a proximity mine, as the peel will remain there until someone steps on it, butt dropping them for 20 AP. Releasing down and circle while the radar is red will unleash Pipitron G, whose swinging mitts will eject any opponents caught in its path. The first and last hits of this move will strike at close range for 30 AP, but the second hit, an uppercut aimed at aerial opponents, is worth 20 AP. With that in mind, use this attack in a corner for a possible 50 AP on a single opponent. Said opponent will ricochet off the wall with the first hit and into the range of the second hit. Each of these effects changes slightly when the monkey radar is used in the air. Blue will send out a monkey that can strike opponents both below and above you, but the trajectory is so odd and the attack is so quick that it's one of Spike's hardest moves to use effectively. Green will throw 3 bananas onto the stage instead of just 1, but each one is worth 10 AP and none of them have the butt drop property. Red will drop Pipitron from above, slamming him into opponents below you and fully launching them for up to 40 AP. Note that while using aerial down and circle, Spike will stop dead in mid-air, which is a handy evasive maneuver. Finally, holding cross after a jump will activate Spike's Sky Flyer, slowing his descent. You'll rarely need it, but it's noteworthy nonetheless. Spike's combo potential is nowhere near as high as Parappa's or Fat Princess's. However, there are a few options for those looking to take advantage of the slightly faster side of his balanced moveset. Our first combo is fairly simple. Sweep the opponent with down and square. When the opponent reaches the apex of the sweep, bust out the B launcher on down and triangle. Finish the combo by mashing neutral square to eject them. This is worth 65 AP on its own, but you can bump that total up to 75 by preceding this combo with aerial forward and square. This next combo is also relatively easy, but there are some layers you can add to it for extra AP. Sweep the opponent once with down and square. The instant they start falling to the ground, press down and square again to juggle them. When they start falling again, hit up and square to follow them into the air and eject them by pressing square once more. Alone, this combo is worth just 70 AP, so let's add to that. You can start the combo from above with aerial forward and square, but you have to be very quick at following it up with down and square to maintain the chain. Now we're bordering on the impractical, but you can proceed all this by dropping a banana peel with down and circle. If the opponent steps on it, the butt drop should give you enough time to jump up and continue the combo with aerial forward and square. This will give you enough extra AP to trigger the AP burst. Our final combo is a bit trickier, but has a better chance of catching your opponent off guard. Why yes, it does make use of the banana rang. Begin by jumping into the air and pressing aerial forward and triangle immediately afterwards to launch the banana rang. Now, if you attack with forward and square, the banana rang will prevent the opponent from being ejected on its return journey. This allows you to jump up again and quickly hit up and square to eject them for real. Altogether, this is worth 80 AP. On the subject of combos, Spike can combo into both his level 1 and level 2 super, so let's take a look at those. Like his in-game rival, Parappa, the cheap cost of Spike's supers are indicative of their quality. His level 1 is the iconic monkey net, which he hammers down in front of him. This super has a wide radius and the attack itself is very quick, but its range is fairly short and, surprise surprise, the startup is frustratingly long. Thankfully, we can combo into this super by freezing the opponent with aerial down and triangle at short range. There must be absolutely no hesitation in activating the super when you return to the ground. Even a split second will allow the opponent to recover in time. His level 2 is a bit more reliable. This fires a shockwave from Spike's stun club that kills anything it touches. The wave is quick and its range is infinite. It will keep going until it's obstructed by the environment. This does make it a liability on slope surfaces, however, and, of course, it's easily avoided at much longer ranges. But once again, we can combo into this super, this time with down and square. Dodging this super at close range is difficult to begin with, but just to be sure, firing the level 2 after sweeping an opponent or opponents is almost a guaranteed kill. On the more uneven stages, you may want to go with Spike's level 3, a simple screen clear. Look at the monkey. That's 3 instant kills for just 600 AP, so nabbing 2 of these in one match is feasible. Despite his balanced moveset, I would definitely categorize Spike as an intermediate character. Playing as him can be frustrating due to his slow attack speed, but his ability to dominate isolated opponents, at any range no less, more than makes up for it. And don't forget, it all builds up to a decent tandem of supers in his level 1 and level 2. Let's wrap up with our key tips. Just in case you didn't catch it already, Spike is slow. Make sure you have the space to pull off his longer range attacks like forward and square and forward and triangle. Defense is just as important as offense. Remember to block, wait for an opening to punish your foe, and use up and circle to teleport out to brawls and other tight spots. Remember your big advantage over most other characters. Spike has effective tools for every range. Your triangle moves in particular can prove a great source of annoyance. Finally, remember to combo into your level 1 and level 2 supers at close range. Aerial down and triangle for the level 1, and down and square for the level 2. Thus concludes All-Star Guide number 5. I'm off to catch the rest of those pesky simians. May take me a while. Until next time, I've been Jack from the Beard Network. Thank you very much for waiting an extra week, and I'll be back soon with another All-Star Guide.